Good morning. In earlier period, we study inheritance, heredity, chromosome, and the types of chromosome. Today, we study the chemical substance present in a chromosome. DNA. DNA means deoxyribose nucleic acid. Okay. Chromosomes, we know that chromosome, it is made up of the DNA. Okay, it is made up of DNA. It was first discovered by the Swiss scientist Friedrich Michel in 1869. At that time, the DNA was found in the nucleus of cell, and that's why this DNA was known as a nucleic acid. Why? Because it is present in a nucleus. Okay. Later on, it was realized that this DNA not only present in the nucleus, it also presents in other parts of the cells. Molecules of the DNA. These molecules of DNA present in all organisms. Whether it is bacteria, in a bacteria, in viruses, or even in all animals like a human also, in a human being also, DNA is present, which play important role. DNA control functioning, growth, and the cell division, and that is why means it useful for the important functioning, and that's why DNA is also called as a master molecule. It's also called as a master molecule. DNA can be known as a master molecule. In 1953, Watson and the Crick, two scientists first proposed the model of DNA, which is known as a Watson-Crick model. It's known as a Watson-Crick model of DNA. According to this model, in DNA there are two strands. DNA made up of two strands or threads. These threads are parallel to each other. They are parallel and coiled. See, this one is the one thread. Okay, another thread is like that, but this second thread is coiled around this. So we feel that these two strands are twisted. They are twisted with each other. Twisted. As a result, this structure, this arrangement of DNA is called as a double helix. Okay. So the structure of DNA is compared with a flexible ladder. म्हणजे समजा लॅडर एक लॅडर आहे, ही लॅडर विसरी यामध्ये हे दोन साईडचे पार्ट्स असतात आणि ते पॅरल असतात. ओके, सिमिलरली हियर these two strands are like these two sides of wood, okay, which are parallel to each other, but this ladder here, the DNA are twisted to each other. In this DNA contain the, what is in DNA, what is present? Nucleotides. What is present? Nucleotides are present, and Also it contains the nitrogen bases. There are 4 types of nitrogen bases. One is adenine, second one guanine, third is cytosine, and the fourth one is thymine. In these 4 nitrogen bases, these 2 nitrogen bases, adenine and guanine, togetherly called as purines, and cytosine and thymine, they are known as the pyrimidines. Okay, so there are 4 nitrogen bases are there, and they are called as the purines and the pyrimidines. In the structure of nucleotides, in the structure of these nucleotides, this is a nucleotide. In the nucleotide, the thread of the DNA is called as a nucleotide. It contains, it contains nitrogen bases. What is present in there? Nitrogen bases and phosphoric acid and the sugar molecules. Togetherly, it forms the nucleotides of a DNA. In DNA, these 4 types of nitrogen bases, in these 4 types of nitrogen bases are present. In these nucleotides, the chain of molecule DNA is present in DNA thread. These two DNA threads are joined by the rails. These rails are made up of the molecule of sugar, phosphoric acids, and also this joined by the pair of, and also nitrogen bases. In this, nitrogen bases are joined by the hydrogen bonds. Here, one adenine is joined with the hydrogen bonds with the thymine. Adenine form purines and thymine form pyrimidines. They are bind with the hydrogen bonds and form and join these 2 threads of DNA. Then guanine form hydrogen bonds with the cytosines. As a result, their sequence of nitrogen bases are present in the nucleotides of a DNA. This sequence of DNA form the single DNA molecule. Okay. In DNA molecule, there are segment of DNA there. This segment of DNA are known as a gene. Segment of DNA are known as a genes. In DNA, there is a many segments of DNA are present, means many genes are present. These genes possess different sequences of nucleotides so that there is a difference, there is a variations in arrangement of these nucleotides can be seen. In DNA, genes are present that genes control structure and function of the cell. The genes control structure and function of cells and the body also. Genes also useful in transmission. It transmit the characteristics heredity characteristics, and that's why it play important role in a heredity. That means in a genes, the sequence of nucleotides presence, the sequence of nucleotides are, when transferred in the next generation, will forms the different characteristics in their offspring, in the offspring. That is why, because of that results, in a parents and offspring, the variations or the similarity can be appears. And that is because of the genes only. In the genes, all information related to characteristics is stored, and that's why it is called as a very important factor of the body. Okay, later on in a chromosome, the second molecules are present. The second molecule is called as a RNA. That means ribonucleic acid. It is second important nucleic acid present in the cell. This acid made up of, it contain ribose sugar, phosphate molecule, and 4 nitrogenous bases. Here adenine, guanine, cytosine, right? And in DNA, the fourth one is a thymine, but in RNA, instead of thymine, the fourth one is a uracil is present. In nucleotide of RNA, in nucleotide, the chain of RNA molecule is formed. This contain ribose sugar, phosphate molecule, and one nitrogen base and nitrogenous bases. According to the, in body, RNA play important role, and according to the functions of RNA, there are 3 types of RNA there. In one, first is ribosomal RNA. It also has a rRNA. See, in this RNA, ribosome is present. Ribosomes, organelles are present in RNA. These organelles are present in RNA, which is important in a protein synthesis. These ribosomes are used for the protein synthesis. Okay, so the RNA in which ribosomes are present, they are called as the rRNA. Second RNA is a messenger, or it is called as the mRNA. Here, this RNA carries informations of protein synthesis. Okay, see, wherever our body require the protein require, that message carried by the messenger RNA and gives it to the ribosomal RNA. आणि तो मेसेज कोणाला देतात? रायबोसोम. मग राइबोसोमल RNA क्या करतात, दे स्टार्ट द प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस. ओके. DNA chain in the cell nucleus to ribosomes in the cytoplasm so that protein is synthesized. Okay. Then the third one is transfer RNA. It's called as a tRNA. tRNA, according to the name, it transfers the information. It transfers the substances. It carries amino acids. It carries amino acids to rRNA. To rRNA. When messenger brain carry the message and give it to the ribosomal RNA, after that transfer RNA started working. This transfer RNA carry amino acids and it gives to the ribosomal RNA. So from these amino acids, ribosomal RNA produce or synthesize the protein, and then this protein used in our body wherever it required. In this way, RNA is the second important nucleic acid present in body. Okay. Next period we will see the Mendel's experiments, which showing how the characteristics by using the chromosomes are transferred from one generation to the other generation. Thank you so much.